Alright, so last week we talked about my Nesco vacuum sealer, which I think is probably like the most used tool I use when it comes to prepping food for long-term storage. This one here is going to be my second most used item. So this is a Hamilton Beach dehydrator. I believe it's a food dehydrator. I believe I got it for around $50 at Lowe's, and I have really put a lot of work into this one. This one has done a lot of work. So now this is electric, so you'd have to have power to run this. Not all dehydrators require power. They do have ones that you can just hang outside, which I do plan on investing in one or two of those, because living in the desert, one thing that we have an abundance of, especially during the summertime, is sunlight. So you're able to dehydrate food using the natural dehydration method that our ancestors used, which is just using the sun. When I do get one of those, then we'll try that out, and then we'll bring that to the channel as well. But I really like this. This one has really proved to be a good investment. I've definitely got my $50 out of this. This thing here will dehydrate anything. I've dehydrated all types. I mean, if some of my earlier videos, I'd do like, I did some dehydrating and stuff. But I never really talked about the dehydrator itself, like in just the dehydrator. So now, as you can see, this does have 5 trays, and a lid, of course. So now this one here is the top tray. Now the top tray is different than the other 4. Doesn't matter, but the top tray does have this cap here, and so basically the hot air comes up from the center, and so depending on how many of these you have stacked, it just pushes the hot air up through these holes, and then there's around the edges there's ventilation, so that the air comes through this way. So there are 5 trays. Now the bottom, as you can see on the bottom here, you do have this is the heater element. The heat pushes up through here, and so if you only need 2, you put 2 on. But you always want this one that has the cap to be the top, because that's the one that actually pushes the air. That's the closure for it. So that one, if you only need 2, then you'll have your bottom one, then you'll have your cap, and that way it'll distribute the hot air evenly amongst all the levels. So and again, it does have 5 trays, so you can dehydrate a lot of food on this, which I really like. And then of course lid. Now it does have two other trays that it came with. Okay, so the first one is this. It's just like a plastic tray, which you can set it on any level. But basically, you put that on there, and the hot air goes underneath the bottom of it. So what this one here is for is, move some of these out of the way here. All right, so what this one here is for, let's say that you have like pureed fruit such as like, I don't know, mangoes, applesauce, but you have like a liquid pureed fruit. Well, you can fill this tray. It's kind of got like a little recess, right? So you fill this tray with your pureed fruit, and then you dehydrate it. And this essentially will make a fruit roll-up, for lack of a better term. But it'll make a pure fruit roll-up. No sugar, just your fruit. So your natural sugars and your fibers are going to hold it together when it dehydrates. It's more of a fruit leather. So that's a nice option too. That's good, especially if you have young children that like fruit roll-ups, because you can save a lot of money making your own fruit roll-ups. So, and then the other one that it does come with is this mesh one here. It's like a lattice, and basically this one is designed to dehydrate fresh herbs. So you put like your leaves on there, like say you have like mint, like we have over here, or you may have basil or oregano, something that you want to dehydrate and save for long term. So you can put your leaves on here, and it'll dehydrate the leaves, and they'll just sit there. Now, what I use this for, and actually we're going to show you this next week, but I put this one on the bottom. I don't use this one, but I'll put this one on the bottom tray. and then I'll put whatever I'm going to dehydrate, and we'll do that next week. But I'll put my food item there. Then I put my second tray on. Put my food item on here, and so on and so forth up until I get to the top one. Now, what this is good for, and then I'll put the lid on, and then depending on what we're dehydrating, you just follow the. It did come with a booklet, but you just follow the instructions. Now, one of the main things to remember when you are dehydrating is that you have to completely dehydrate your food. There can be no moisture left in it, because if there's any moisture, then you're going to get bacteria growth and you've dehydrated for nothing. So you want to make sure that you completely force all the liquid out of whatever you're dehydrating. Some foods, such as, say, potatoes, possibly carrots, some of your thicker, fruits and stuff like that, vegetables. Pardon me, it's been a long week. But they'll require boiling. So you parboil your potatoes, and that way they dehydrate faster and more evenly. So things such as apples, you'll want to either blanch them real fast, or you'll want to. What I do when I do my apples is I'll make a water lemon juice mixture, and so basically I rinse them, and so the lemon juice covers the apple, and so then it doesn't turn black while you're trying to dehydrate it. And potatoes are the same thing. That's why you parboil your potatoes. And the booklet that came with it has all the instructions on it. But that's just one of those little pointers I can tell you. Otherwise, you're going to get black potatoes. Are they bad? No, but they're not really that appealing to the eye. So those you can still eat them. So, but what I plan on, but next week what we're going to do is we're going to actually take some item, and it might be a fresh item or it could be a frozen item. I'm not real sure what we're going to do yet. It depends on what's on sale, because just as I always talk about on almost every video where I'm talking about like projects or food or anything, I look for the best value that I can get. So if I go to the market and let's say celery is like on sale because they have a lot of it or something, we might be doing celery. Onions might be on sale. We might be doing onions. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process. We're going to start with this, and then we're going to work our way on through the process. We're going to do pretty much like the whole. I may do like potatoes or apples, something that requires that additional step, so that you can see that as well. But next week we're going to incorporate everything that we've talked about so far, which is the dehydrator, and then the Nesco vacuum sealer, and then we're going to start from the start, and we're going to move all the way through. I'm going to show you a couple recipes. We're going to do that, and then that's next week. So next week we're going to go through the process. So, but I really like this dehydrator. I think that I've actually saved a lot of money using it, because when food goes on sale, so like squash, potatoes, onions, I'll buy extra, and then I'll just dehydrate it and set it aside. And so I've made a lot of stews and soups. I've made a lot of soups and stews, and like dehydrated fruit for like oatmeals and stuff. And I'll buy the stuff on sale, and then I'll just take a day and I'll prep everything up. I'll dehydrate it. Usually it takes a couple days to dehydrate, depending on what you're dehydrating. And you can do meat in this too. I haven't done meat yet, but I do plan on making some beef jerky, getting some finely sliced beef, and making some beef jerky on this, because that's another item. If you jerk it right, if you make a really good beef jerky, then it's dehydrated, and then you can seal those up in those vacuum seal bags, and you can have your beef for later on. You can season it how you want. I'll just use like a simple teriyaki. Maybe like a more spicy one as well, but we'll make some beef jerky. You can do chicken. You can dehydrate just about anything, and then you can save it for long term. And so kind of the big thing is you look for those sales, you stock up. So I know when celery, it dropped to at the store. They had so much of it, and it was starting to go bad, and so they were selling it at almost half what they were originally selling it for. I think it was like 29 cents a stock instead of like 50 cents or 60 cents a stock. It was pretty much half off. And so I bought a bunch of different stocks of celery. I probably think about like 10 or 12 stocks. And I just sliced them up, put them in the dehydrator, and then I was able to put those in the different soups. Put them, store them up for long term. So I just have a whole bunch of dehydrated celery. And then that way, when you need it, you can just zip it, open it up, take out a half a cup or a cup of celery or whatever you need for whatever soup you're making. And that's the thing. Well, a lot of these times when this stuff is dehydrated, you're not going to just like rehydrate it and that's what you're going to eat. They're not freeze-dried. They are dehydrated. This is more for cooking with, say, rices or soups or something like that. But it's still a very good option because you can actually store up your soups and you're going to be able to get all the nutrition that you need from the dehydrated state. So, but anyway, that's our video for today. And like I said, next week we're going to be dehydrating something. We're going to go through the process. I'm going to do a step-by-step, very detailed step-by-step, so that we can see the whole process from start to finish, as well as how we store it up. And so I look forward to doing that. I look forward to you watching it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the lensatic compass. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that lensatic compass and how it is important. So, but until then, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I got a lot of other videos. We're doing a video a day. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate the views. I appreciate the comments, and we're just going to keep it going. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I think that the channel is going to really, it's going to snowball here soon. I know that. So, and then, like I said, we've got like a couple more weeks of talking about compasses, and then we're going to go into maps, and then somebody recommended, one of my viewers recommended talking about ranger beads. I may do that too, because it does have something to do with like land navigation. But we're going to cover land navigation, and then after we get through land navigation, I believe we're going to be talking about the different types of sharpening stones and methods that you can use to sharpen not just knives but axes as well as saws. So we're going to be doing a whole module on that as well. So I got a lot of stuff planned for this year. And again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit that notification bell. But if not, just know that there's going to be a new video every day. I try to get them posted at 6. I think one of them went out at 6:30. If there are going to be any going out later on in the day, I'll put a message up I'll put a message up to let you all know that it's going to be late. But my intent is we're going to hit every day this year. We're going to hit this year running, and so far I'm having a great time, and I really, really hope that you are too.